You can catch her on national news on Fox News Weekly, speaking out on gun rights issues and political analysis. She is affectionately referred to as the First Lady of the Second Amendment among gun enthusiasts. In the conservative movement, she has been a keynote speaker at Republican, Tea Party, and Second Amendment events in over 20 states in the last few years. She was selected by the Texas GOP as the voice of the conservative voter. This lady is a state police certified and NRA certified firearms instructor and an NRA certified range safety officer. She has personally trained over 8,000 people in over 20 states in 5 countries. Her training program has a 100% accident-free record. She and her husband own the Gun Cave indoor shooting range in Hot Springs, which has attracted thousands of visitors, members from around the world. It's not unusual to see people from 3 or 4 countries, states in her weekly classes. She is an Associated Press award-winning veteran investigative TV journalist. Her latest documentary, I have trouble saying that word, Rampant Injustice, went viral, and her article, Why I Want My Range to Be a Muslim-Free Zone. Did you hear about that? Generating international frenzy, resulted in gun ranges and gun stores in 6 states following her lead. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome a Hot Springs resident, our friend, Miss Jan Morgan.
Time do I have?
As much as you want.
Okay, just pull me off the stage. What an honor it is to be here with you tonight, truly. A night when we're paying special recognition to those behind-the-scenes folks who never get recognition. They're not the people that you see with names and lights. They're not the people running for public office. They're the people that are out there going to the city council meetings and taking on the city council when there are issues that affect you and your family. They're the people who are folding up the tables and chairs after events like this. They're the people who are sealing envelopes and mailing out information to the community, trying to make people aware of what's going on. They're the Indians, the workers, the hard workers in our community. What a great opportunity to be able to honor them tonight. So I'm really excited to be here, and I can't wait to find out who those folks are. You know, I love that commercial. That was a Glock commercial. When I got here tonight, I was walking around the room and I kept running into people that either hang out at our gun range and shoot, or I've trained them in my classes. So I feel really safe up here tonight. Although there were a few students that ran across and said, where are you packing? Oh, I left it in my car. I said, apparently I did not get through to you in my class, because I tell my students, you should never go anywhere unarmed. Ever. Ever. You got yours? Good for you. And it's a female, of all things. Listen to that. Listen to that. You know, you should never go anywhere unarmed, because guess what? Needing a gun and not having it is a mistake you only get to make once. It's kind of like a parachute, right? You need it, you don't have it, uh-oh, you're in trouble. So leaving it in the car is not going to help you if you get accosted between here and your car tonight. But if you forgot to bring yours, just follow me out, because I'm always packing. In fact, I've got 2 guns on me. One is a Glock subcompact Model 27 with an extended magazine, 16 rounds, and the other is a SIG P238 380, just in case I need a little backup. So just hang with me and I'll get you to your car safely. Okay? Man, that light is bright. You know, the American dream, I was watching the video tonight and I was getting nostalgic, as I always do. When I start thinking about my country, it's hard not to cry. Because America and the very values that this country was founded upon is under attack, an unprecedented attack. And folks, this upcoming election, the result of that election will either be America's finest hour or our darkest day. That's really what we've come to. And I'm not sure that enough citizens really have a handle on that and understand that. This is no longer game playing time. This is no longer politics. This is the life or death of America as we know it. So what I came here tonight to do, hopefully, is to keep you charged up. You know, it's kind of like we get batteries. We're like batteries sometimes. We just need to be plugged in. So I hope before I finish tonight, I'm going to step on your toes a little bit first. And then we're going to rally the troops and rally the base, and hopefully you're going to leave here saying, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fight to take my country back. Because I don't care who you are or what position you're in tonight. Everyone has something they can do. So let's do a little bit of Patriot analysis tonight. Because no matter who you are, you're in one of these categories. You see, I've talked to patriots all over the United States, whether they were Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, you name it. I've been all over. And one thing I've learned after talking to people is that there are basically 3 kinds of patriots. So I want you to listen to this and realistically figure out which one you are. Which category do you fit in? First of all, we have the closet patriot. The closet patriot, no one in their immediate family, no one in their ring of friends, certainly no one that they work with, nobody really has any idea what their political alignment is. No one really knows what they stand for because they don't want to offend anyone. They don't want to make anybody mad. They don't want to get into a confrontation. Really, the only way we know they're a conservative is on election day, they go and they vote. They vote conservative. And we want you to keep doing that. I don't want to scare any of make the closet conservatives mad. We still need those votes. But other than that, you wouldn't know they were conservative. I run into people like that all the time. They, believe it or not, they come to my gun range to shoot and start talking politics and say, well, who are you rooting for? You know, what are you going to talk about on Fox News this week? You know, and I said, well, this and this and this and this. And you're on my Facebook page. I don't know, what do you, I didn't know you were a conservative. Oh, yeah, but I can't, I've got friends that are liberals and you don't want to make them mad because they might picket the event. They might protest you. They might frown at you. They might actually call you a name. Oh my goodness. So we've got the closet conservative. You know what I call closet conservatives? Cowards. Cowards. And we have the lip service conservative. Those are the ones that you can always count on to mouth. I mean, they're going to, yeah, they'll stand up, I believe in this, and I believe in that. No. But then when you need them to do something, they disappear. Yeah, so you know, listen to her, they're not there. They're the lip service conservatives. They're all ready to talk about it, and we appreciate that. We need you out there talking. We need you. But we also need you to help out, you know, when the rubber hits the road. And there's something everybody can do. And then we have the active patriots. Those are the people that I want on my team. Those are the kinds of people that when gunfire is happening, they run to it, not away from it. They run to it with their guns, of course. These are the kinds of people who you can count on. They're the ones out there when you've got a petition you're circulating, trying to make a change in your city for the better. They're the ones out there knocking on doors and approaching people and saying, this is what we stand for, this is what's going to happen if the city council votes for this. Could we get your support? Would you sign this saying that you agree with us that this is the wrong thing? They're the people that are up here late at night tonight, folding up tables and chairs and putting things away. They're the people that are meeting week after week, hour upon hour upon hour, talking about, okay, we've got this upcoming election. Who are we going to support? What can we do to help them? How can we meet their needs? They're the people answering the phones on a volunteer basis at the campaign headquarters of these conservatives that we want, that we need, desperately need in office. They're the workers. They're the people who have the heart and soul of this country in their bones. They're the people who have the spirit of the founding fathers. They're the people that cry when they see the American flag. You know, every day I have 6 flags, American flags, that I put out every day in front of our gun range, large flags, and every evening I bring them in. And there isn't a day that passes that when I'm taking the flag out or bringing it back in the evening, that I look at it in my arms, I look at it and watch the wind whipping it. It makes me cry. just look at it and say, wow. It's sad because I know what it took for our founding fathers, the sacrifices that they made so that we could have this constitutional republic. They just handed to us. And I think about the people in America now, the trend to throw that flag on the ground and trample it. I hope that never happens in my presence because honestly, folks, I don't think I can control myself. I'm going to hurt people. Which patriot are you? You know? Honestly, if you're sitting there and you're saying, you know, gosh, okay, you're right, other than buy a ticket every now and then to an event or give a donation, I haven't done much. It's not too late to change. You know what? Now is the time we need you to change. And if you're not sure what you can do, and guess you don't have to be a public speaker. You don't have to run for political office. Whatever your skills are. What are your skills? You know what they are. What do you do best? Take that and go to the Tea Party or the Republican Party and say, look, I don't like getting in front of people. I don't want to go up to people with petitions. I'm not good at that. But hey, I can drive a car and drive these people around to take those petitions to get signed. I can fold envelopes and stuff envelopes, and I can run to the post office and mail. Regardless of your skills, there's something you can bring to the table. And guess what? It does take a village. I hate to quote Hillary Clinton, but it does take a village to make things happen, to succeed. And that's why God made us the way He did. Each of us has special talents and skills, and together we can be a remarkable movement if we choose to do so. So, okay, we've got that nasty little step on your toes thing out of the way. Anybody who's mad at me yet? What can we do? Let's talk about the American dream. Because see, I want it back. I want it back. Back in the old days, when I was a little girl, people talked about the American dream, but they talked about it in a different way than we do today. You know, if I were going to ask any of you in this room, or any number of you in this room, what to you is the American dream? I'm afraid I would hear things like career success, nice home, family, making millions of dollars, rich and famous, things. I'm sure you've heard that, things. But there was a time when I was growing up that if you asked people, what is the American dream? They would talk about the principles and values of freedom, liberty. That's what represented freedom. So how did we get from a society that views the American dream as something materialistic rather than the principles of freedom? How did we get there? I'll tell you what, political correctness gave us a big boot that direction, did it not? Yeah. That's why we have a lot of closet conservatives, because political correctness, people are afraid of being labeled things like racist. You know, racist is that's the one thing people pull out, regardless of whether you're doing something that has anything to do with race. Oh, you're a racist, or you're a bigot, or whatever. I mean, you're an Islamophobe. I mean, I've been called all kinds of things. I just laughed. I name calling. I said, how about coming back at me with something substantive? In fact, the people that were going to protest this event tonight, I would like to take a little credit for the fact that they did show up. Because I went to the leading guy's page, a doctor here in town, nonetheless, and I said, you know, I hear you guys are going to protest, you're kind of organizing this, that's great. I just, in a position of wanting to be cordial and civilized, I'm going to tell the Tea Party folks to be sure to set up a coffee stand outside for you all so you can stay warm and make sure that everything goes okay for you while you're out there. And you're welcome to protest. Because guess what? We have a right for peaceful protest, right? That's fine. Which was kind of shocking. I think they expected me to go, oh my gosh. They didn't know me too well. And then I said, just out of curiosity, what exactly is it that you have a problem with me on that? And he went on his little rampage, and I came back and I said, well, actually, you didn't read my article, did you? You listened to what other people said about what I have done and what I represent. I said, here's my article. I challenge you to go read it. And then come back at me with something substantive. Because you can't. Because if you're in the same position I'm in, where I am solely responsible for the safety and security of every single person that comes in that gun range, you'd make it a private club too. And by gosh, I would hope you'd be discerning about who you allow to shoot there. So he went and read my article, and I didn't hear much from him since. Just kind of fizzled out. You know, you can't make everybody happy, folks. But the best way to deal with a bully is not to get quiet and cower down. We know better than that, right? Remember elementary school, the bully in the class? When did he stop? It's when somebody with a set walks up to him and says, you know what, okay. And it's usually some little guy, a lot smaller than he is, stands in front of him and says, okay, buddy boy, I've had enough of this. Bring it. Bring it. That's what I do to Islamists that have, over the past 5 years, have threatened my life. I say, okay, buddy boy, bring it. Here's my address. I'll be waiting for you. Come on. You know, when the counterterrorism unit of the FBI sent a special agent and his supervisor, they called me on my cell phone. Can you believe that? I was in bed with my husband. Yes, I sleep with my husband. I love that guy. He's my soulmate. He's the most amazing man in the world. But we were in bed, and my cell phone rang, and I looked at it, and I was like, I don't recognize that number. And I showed it to him. I said, wait, he said, well, answer it. I said, hello? And he said, the voice on the line said, Jan Morgan? I said, yes. He said, this is Special Agent Chris McCaslin with the Counterterrorism Unit of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So I was wondering if we could meet with you sometime today. Well, I just started laughing. I thought it was a joke. I pulled my phone back. I said, hey, baby, guess what they said over the FBI? They want to talk to me. And Bob just looked at me, and I said, who is this? And he went through his field again. I said, wait a minute. Okay, wait. You're asking me if we can meet and talk about this? That's not how you guys operate. Don't you normally come barreling in your black SUVs and shut down the place and demand time? And he just started laughing then. He said, no, you're not in any kind of trouble, but we do need to talk to you. I said, okay, well, come on over. And he said, well, actually, we want you to come down to the sheriff's department. I said, oh, do I need a bail bondsman? I said, can my husband come with me? He said, sure, in fact, we'd like to talk to him too. So we set a time and we go down to the sheriff's department. And Sheriff McCormick, I think that was before you took over. If I had known you were there, so you would have given me a heads up on this. You would have called me and said, hey, the feds are here looking for you. But, so we go down there, we sit down with these guys and they show us their credentials. They were who they said they were. And they looked at me with this very serious look and said, Ms. Morgan, we need to inform you that ISIS is in Arkansas. They have targeted one of our soldiers' sons, one of our soldiers who is dropping bombs on ISIS targets in Syria. He was tweeting back to his wife and his kid that he had taken out another target today, and he was so excited and felt like he was accomplishing something. And ISIS intercepted, and they targeted his son. So we're trying to stay on top of that, and we just wanted you to know that now you are a target. And your pictures with your AR-15, they're all over the Middle East. Everybody's got them. They're on every terrorist page. They're out there. And so we need to understand what that means. I said, oh, is that all? I mean, my husband just looks at me. I looked at him and I said, well, I'm a little confused because if you've been on my cell phone, which clearly you have because you have the number, you've seen my pictures, my messages, my emails, my texts, my everything, then you know I've been getting death threats from Muslims for 5 years. This is nothing new. And he said, well, yeah, but we thought maybe you should just, we wanted you to know that we're monitoring the chatter. We're going to try to keep an eye on things. But in the meantime, you need to take every security precaution necessary for you and others in your presence. And I looked at my husband and I said, okay. And they looked at my husband and they said, sir, do you understand what we're saying? And Bob said, yes. And I said, okay, so are we through here? I said, we're not asking you to stop doing what I'm doing because this makes me more determined to get out there and stand up and speak out. And boy, did I ever. And that's been a year ago. Years passed, and ISIS hasn't come after me yet. I put the information out there, said, here's my address. Come on, boys. Because, see, terrorists are actually cowards. The last thing they want is to face an armed, well-trained citizen. That, folks, is your best defense. What they want you to do is to cower in fear, to back off, to change the way you live every day, to stop doing the things that you love the most, to change your whole culture and your way of life simply because they're coming. But see, I don't think that ISIS understands that America isn't like all these other countries. Yes, we have some gun-free zones, and if you notice, that's where they attack. That's where they go. They go to the gun-free zones, which is why I don't go to gun-free zones. SHOT Show, all the people kept messaging me saying, Jan, why are you at SHOT Show this year? Are you going to go? Are you going to? I said, no, it's a gun-free zone. I'm a Second Amendment advocate. That doesn't work. Lies in the face of everything I speak against. North Carolina Tea Party invited me there. They flew me in a couple of months ago to speak at an event for them, fundraising event. And the day before the event, I really didn't pay attention to where it was. Just like, I mean, I really didn't know the details of where exactly we were supposed to be tonight until this afternoon. I asked my husband, I said, where are we going? Just kidding. I know about your place. I was waiting for you to start scowling. But I didn't pay attention. And so the night before I'm supposed to fly out, I noticed it said the Davie County Courthouse. The historic Davie County Courthouse is where this event is taking place. And I looked at it and I thought, courthouse? Courthouse? So I texted the organizer and I said, hey, this event is being held at a courthouse? Is that an active courthouse? And he said, oh, yes. I said, so it's a gun-free zone? And he said, well, yes, very secure. Got metal detectors there and everything. And I said, well, I'm sorry to spring this on you, but I thought, you know, since you know I'm a national Second Amendment advocate, I'm out there battling against gun-free zones, the last thing I'm going to do is speak at a rally in a gun-free zone. Television and radio and TV, newspaper ads, and so this is the night before the event. And I said, so here's the deal, Mark. You either change the venue. I said, no, I'll talk out the parking lot. You move all the Patriots to the parking lot, that's fine, whatever. But he said, Jan, we can get a special exception for you to carry. I can talk to the sheriff. No, the sheriff is a very powerful man. So I'll talk to the sheriff. I'm sure he'll make a special exception for you. And I said, no, you don't get the point. It's about the citizens. I don't want to disarm them. I feel most safe when I'm surrounded by law-abiding, well-armed, well-trained American citizens. Knock out the gun-free zone thing for one night, and I'll be there. Otherwise, you change the venue, or I'm not coming. The night before. Do you think those people were scampering? I mean, what would you do if I did that to you? Well, they changed the venue. It was a successful event. But here's the reason I told you that story, folks, is we've got to start putting teeth behind our stand. It's not enough just to say you stand for this or say you stand for that. You've got to put teeth behind it. Isn't George Washington say that? Put the teeth behind what you believe in and stand for. Stand up and fight back. Just this week, 2 days ago, I was on Fox News. They wanted me to come on and talk about in Massachusetts. You're not going to believe this is happening in America, folks. You're not going to believe this. In Lowell, Massachusetts, the city council and the mayor decided to listen to the police chief. The police chief apparently is an anti-gun advocate. He doesn't want anybody but his police officers armed. And so he came up with this plan, okay? If you're going to carry a gun in the city limits of Lowell, Massachusetts, in addition to meeting the state concealed handgun requirements, now you also have to write a 1,000-word essay explaining, describing in detail why you should have the right to carry a gun in the city. Why do you want this? Why should you have this right? That's not 1,000 words. So, I'm not kidding you. This is a 1,000-word essay. So if you don't have writing skills, you're not going to be able to get a gun permit in Lowell, Massachusetts. And on top of that, in addition, you have to take 5 days of training classes, which cost upwards of $1,100. This, folks, is happening in the United States of America. And the people of Massachusetts are sitting there going, oh my gosh, I hate this is happening to us. We're not going to be able to carry a gun. Instead of saying, no way, we have the Second Amendment. No, the Supreme Court of the United States of America has already said in 2010 that the Second Amendment is incorporated with the 14th Amendment, which does not, it no longer, let's clarify, no longer allows infringement by local governments. Yanker said, is that constitutional? I said, no. No, it's not, Trish. Can you give me a minute here? I said, I suggest the City Council of Lowell get on the ball and look at the latest Supreme Court ruling, just in case they didn't understand that that's the way it's always been. And then the citizens of Massachusetts, by the way, the folks in Massachusetts are flying me in a couple of months to rally the basic gun owners there. We're going to try to get people, to man up. Or for the women to put on their big girl panties and fight back. We're going to have to fight or they're going to lose their rights. Let me tell you something, people. Once you lose it, getting it back, it's not going to happen. Just ask the people in Australia. Ask the people in the UK. I had a police officer from the UK flew into America. He and his wife were on vacation. He said, one of the places we have to go, honey, we got to go to the gun pig. So we get that a lot. I've trained people from Sweden, Australia, Africa, the Netherlands. I mean, they're coming in from all over the world. He's a police officer in the UK. And so he came out to shoot. His wife was terrified of guns. She's never been around guns. So she stayed at the hotel. He came over and shot. And he was quite a marksman, in spite of the fact that in the UK, even police officers can't carry a gun. Can you believe that? Yeah. I asked him. I said, by the way, I put that video up on my Facebook page. I interviewed him. And I said, so tell me, you're in a gun-free society. How, if you don't carry a gun as a police officer, I said, I know that in gun-free societies, bad guys still have guns, right? And he said, yes. I said, so the criminals still have guns. You run into a criminal, what do you do? He said, I asked him politely to drop it. I said, well, how does that work for you? He said, not too good. I said, so then what do? You won't drop it. He said, well, I asked him a little louder. I said, does that work? He said, no. In Australia, it's so bad. Once they took the citizens' guns, then they took their pepper spray, they took their tasers, and then the police department stepped up, the law enforcement agency stepped up and got the country to pass a law saying that the citizens who were wearing bulletproof vests, because that was the only defense they had against bad guys with guns, citizens were wearing bulletproof vests every day. So then the government came out and said, you can't wear a bulletproof vest because if police officers come after you, then you're not going to go down. They can take you out. So that's what happens. See, when you give an inch, the government takes a mile. You don't give. That's why I say I'm a no compromise Second Amendment advocate. And I need you to join me in that battle, folks, because if you don't stand up and start fighting back, you see, the second is the most important because without it, we have no way to defend the remaining Bill of Rights. That's it. That needs to be your line in the sand. And when you're talking to people, these people here tonight, when you're talking to someone who wants your vote, and you're trying to decide, am I going to give this guy or this woman my vote? The first thing you need to ask them is, where do you stand on the Second Amendment? Where do you stand? See, here in Arkansas right now, we finally got some clarification that open carry is not illegal. Well, that helps people that can't afford to get a concealed handgun permit, but there are people who don't feel comfortable open carrying. And still, they have to pay the state fees. They still have to pay all those fees. And you see, that's not fair to the single mother out there who's trying to raise 3 or 4 kids, and she has to go to work every day and come home at night, and she's in dangerous areas of town, and she has no way to defend herself. She has to walk around a defenseless victim waiting to happen because she can't afford a $140 gun permit on top of the price of a new gun in a class. What about the man at home who's trying to support his wife and kids? If he can afford a gun on top of his other expenses today, what if he can't afford to take a class? What if he can't afford $140 for a permit? You see, folks, We've already allowed over 30,000 gun control laws on the books in this country. 30,000! And guess what? Every one of those 30,000 gun control laws that are on the books are forms of infringement of the Second Amendment. And that has happened, folks, under our watch. Who's responsible for that? You and me. We allowed it. Why? Because closet conservatism. Because we don't want to be offensive. Because we're so busy we don't have time to pay attention to what's going on. Well, those times have stopped. The days of not talking politics to your friends and religion are over. They're over. That's why we lost the American dream. Because when you start talking and viewing the American dream as what you have, rather than those principles and values of liberty and freedom, the things that the Christianity, all of those things that lay the perfect foundation for a constitutional republic, when the American dream becomes more to you about the things you have than the principles that our founding fathers fought and died for, then that is a sign that we have become a victim of moral decay in this country. And we have got to turn that around. We have to turn it around. How are we going to do that? Let me tell you how. You got to get off your couch. You've got to stop being a closet patriot. You've got to stop being a lip service patriot. And you need to go to your local organization and say, what can I do? Okay, I'm rich, but I'm really busy because I'm rich, so I give money. Okay? What can I do? You need to offer and then put teeth behind it and mean what you say. You need to get busy about this upcoming election, people. Now, it's very disenchanting, I know. And it's overwhelming to watch the news every day. I know, I feel it. I know where you are. You can ask my husband, when Barack Obama, when it became apparent that he was going to get a second term, I was watching the election returns, and I'm sitting there just hyperventilating. And then when they announced that it was his, I just went into a coma. I'm just sitting there staring at TV, and my husband is saying, he's tapping me very gently on the shoulder, which is what you do with an armed woman who's upset. Baby, honey, you need to go to bed. Just go to bed. Sleep on it. And I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, we have to pack our bags. We've got to leave this country. He's going to destroy it. I know this man. I've researched him. I know what he stands up for, what he believes in, and he has fooled the American people. He is a socialist. He is a communist. We have to stop him. And now it looks like he has another term. We need a backup plan, baby. I keep asking him, what's our backup plan? And he says, hang in there and fight. Keep fighting. But here's the deal, folks. Here's the deal. When you watch the news and you start looking at it, you say, oh my gosh, it's over. It's just overwhelming. There's so much bad happening in this country. It's overwhelming. And you start feeling like, I can't, this is too big. It's too far gone. We've waited. It's too late. It's too late. We can't save America. Let me tell you something, people. It's never too late. As long as you're alive and you can still breathe, then you can still fight. And when you start feeling particularly overwhelmed because you offended somebody and it stressed you out and it hurt your feelings, it hurt their feelings, and now you've got enemies, I want you to think about the fact that, okay, your biggest battle injury this week has been the fact that you offended someone and it hurt your feelings and you lost a friend. I want you to remember what our founding fathers lost for us to have this wonderful gift. If anybody ever in the history of the world had a right to feel overwhelmed, if anyone ever had a right to say, we can't do this, we can't win, we have to give up, it's over, it was our founding fathers. That last battle, when it looked like, geez, there's no chance here. They were outmanned, outarmed, freezing to death, starving to death, many of them trying to fight the British, and all they had on was underwear. They had no shoes, and they were traipsing across the snow and ice barefoot. Now, have you faced anything like that? No. The British said, oh, you can always find the colonists, because you just follow the trail of blood in the snow. They don't have shoes. They don't have guns. They don't have ammunition. We've got this anyone had a right to give up, it was those guys. So until you are starving to death and freezing and tracing across the snow and ice barefoot and running out of guns and ammo, by gosh, you should still be fighting because it worked for our founding fathers and it worked for us. Just remember those guys. And when you leave tonight, I want you to do some serious soul searching and say, okay, which kind of patriot am I? Because I want to be like those guys. I want that spirit of the founding fathers, that true grit. I want to be that kind of person. It's like every American warrior who has ever hoisted the American flag upon his bloody shoulders and in one moment faced the choice between liberty or death, and he chose to put that flag on his shoulders and stare death in the face and spit. That is where I want you to be. Because that's where I am, folks. I'm ready to die for it. I'm ready to die for it if I had to. I'm going to stay here, I'm going to fight, and I'm going to fight, and I'm going to fight until we win. And right now, we are very fortunate that it's not going to be a revolution of arms. We have a chance to do this the legal way, the right way, the way that's going to be best for our country without bloodshed. Folks, we can do this. You can change. And it starts right here at home, right on your local level. When people say, oh, we can't remove legislators that we elected, now they're trying to take our gun rights, I challenge you to look at the state of Colorado, where the citizens elected people to represent them, and 3 of their legislators started trying to impose restrictive, heavily restrictive laws against their gun rights. And guess what? Those people got boots on the ground. They're people just like you and me. They didn't have the National Rifle Association funding them. They faced an enemy of Bloomberg magnitude, and if you all know who Michael Bloomberg is and his money, you know what they were facing. But it was the boots on the ground. It was the regular folks, just like you and me, knocking on doors and saying, look, this is what's going to happen if they pass this law. This is what's going to happen. I need you to help us sign this petition. We're going to recall these legislators. And guess what? They recall those legislators. They got enough petition names to have a recall election, and those people were booted out of office. So it can be done. And that was in Colorado, folks. We're in the deep South. This is the South. We've got that grit. You know, we've got that spirit. I don't know where it went with some of us, but we need to find it again. And then, look at Illinois. Those people who lost all their gun rights. They couldn't get a concealed carry permit. They flew me in a couple of years ago. The political gun owners political action committee of Illinois flew me in. We had some fundraising events, and those people got busy, and they fought, and they fought, and they fought, and they fought legally. They didn't go shoot people. They fought through the legal right, because guess what? We have a Constitution and a Bill of Rights. And it doesn't matter how anybody feels. That's the bottom line here in America. And if you take it through the legal system, you're going to win. It's right there. Fight hard enough, you get enough people behind it. So now the folks in Illinois can get a concealed carry permit. In Washington, D.C., if you have to get a gun permit, guess what? We're in the middle of that battle still. We won the first level, we won the second level, it's on appeal, but we're going to have gun rights in Washington, D.C. So that now when I go there to speak, I don't have to leave my guns at home. It's the only gun-free zone I go to anymore. Because I got to go to Washington sometimes, I have to. I just want to leave you with this. If you are here tonight and you are unarmed, shame on you. If you own a gun and you're scared of your gun, and that's the reason you're unarmed, because you're not tactically confident, come see me. I'll fix that. I will turn you into gun chicks, and guys, I will teach you to shoot like a girl. Which happens to be very accurate. Remember, people, that Second Amendment, you're in line in the sand. Always remember, never forget, that Second Amendment is not about hunting. It's really not even about self-defense. It's about liberty. It's about keeping tyranny at bay. And if for no other reason, that is the reason you should get armed. Always remember, our founding fathers wanted to make sure we understood that an armed America is a free America. Most armed, Most approved. God bless you. God bless you.
But how do you really feel? Great job, Jan.